I want to talk about this passage in the Upanishads. The Upanishads are a ancient Indian text. There's a book, and then this is the sequel, so to say, and then the third one is the Bhagavad Gita. These are three of the seminal texts of ancient Indian spirituality, and this quote goes like this: "You are what." Well, it was written in Sanskrit, so this is translated to English. You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. And it furthers, this is analysis. In the end, all achievement is powered by desire. Each of us has millions of desires, from big to trivial, packed with a certain measure of will to get that desire fulfilled. Imagine how much power is latent in the human personality. Now, I'll speak about myself briefly. In certain moments of deep clarity, I've found myself singing Beatles songs and playing tennis. Anytime I get out of my mind and out of my ideas of the world and everything, and I really get into myself, I'm hitting shots like this, I'm singing songs. These are things that are very, very, very true to me internally. And moments and insights and glimmers like that have brought me to spend so much of my life, so much of my destiny doing those things, when things in the world, circumstances, situations would have told me it's more practically feasible to do other things. Now, the depth of that deep driving desire is what's led me to do what I do. And I believe it to be one of my dharmas. Dharma is like a doing. I bring up my example to say that when there is something that is very deep within you, it needs to come out. And there are very good desires at the core of each person. The problem is that they get muddled with a lot of fear. And then whatever your initially good, deep desires were get perverted by ego. They turn into other things. And then your deep desires become very bad ones. And then following those can cause a lot of harm. Hitler is a good example. He had a lot of ego wrapped around his idea of what a good, strong Germany would be. And it led to a lot of problems for a lot of people, including many, 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 many millions of people dying unnecessarily, very violently. It was a deep driving desire of his, but it was tainted with ego, and he took it very far. As was his desire, so was his destiny. But he wasn't at the truth and purity of his desire. He was at the ego form of his desire. So when you really strip the layers and get to the truth, what is the truth? What is the truth of the desire? What is the truth of from your heart, of what that desire is? And you follow that, things work in ways that you wouldn't expect. Now, of course, there's an intelligence component. You need to do things in ways that are practical, in ways that aren't destructive, because sometimes good desires, good intentions can pave the road to hell, and you don't realize it. But putting all that aside and getting to the deeper core of it, the deep desires are sanctioned by the universe. They're channeled through you. And insofar as you want it, and it's universally connected, stripped of ego, stripped of a selfish, meaning by selfish I mean egoically selfish in a negative sense, desire. Insofar as a pure desire, it comes from the universe, and the universe has made something that links that externally. That's why there's so many genres of music with different fans, so many types of literature, so many types of everything, because what's within one person matches externally. When you're able to find that, amazingly beautiful things happen. And I want to see a world, and I want to see in the world that I live in, that people do that people follow A more simple way to put it is to say they follow their passion. I want people to follow their deepest spiritual impulses and desires and find ways to make it work. The universe opens up when you do. And had I known this earlier, 15, 20 years ago, I would have lived my life differently. I would have taken my music and tennis a lot more seriously then, but I didn't think it was practical. Well, here I am now thinking it's quite practical. But that's because I follow that desire so much that I am in a position now where I've gotten good enough that I'm able to actually go somewhere with it. But that wouldn't have been the case had I not been in touch with this desire. So when you have these desires, know them and know them deeply. Think about what might be stopping you. Think about the fears that are stopping you. Meditate and see if you can bring them into the forefront. I want this for you on a personal level, but I want this for the world too. I want this for consciousness's expression to be manifested in its most beautiful and potent form. I want it for the world I live in, selfishly, and I want it for the creation and cultivation of everything that ever happens with all people in all forms. It sounds insane, but there's this line in the beginning of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. It's something like this. Your purpose is to make the divine plan of the universe unfold. That's how important you are. The universe is everything. All the stars, the cosmos, all the people, the animals, the nature, the trees, the sun, the moon, the stars, the sea, the land, the night and day, the cold and warm. The universe is everything. And when you do something that is in line with universal alignment, with universal desire, it has effects that trickle and ripple across the entire universe that you will never, ever, ever know. It'll feel good for you. It'll feel good for you, and it'll do so much more than you can possibly imagine. It connects with the collective consciousness, and it makes things just a whole lot better in ways that you can't see. It's the whole universe coming alive through you. And that is of monumental and universal and absolute significance. Because what can be more important than the entire universe? Is it fear that you may have about some future thing that might happen, correctly or not? Something that happens within the universe, or something that is a reflection of the whole universe? Meaning, is that fear more important, or is the whole universe more important? The whole universe is more important. And if I'm right, which I think I'm right, if the whole universe is acting through you, that brings to life something absolutely incredible. And I know this sounds insane. This can sound insane to someone who's looking at this rationally. Someone who thinks, oh, well, you're one person, the universe is out there, it's everybody else, it's everything. I know it sounds insane, because I used to think like that. And I think people who talk like I'm talking like now sounded crazy. But I'm saying what I believe to be true. And it's sort of unfolding as I'm going along with it. The larger point is, though, irrespective of these larger scale ramifications, from a practical sense and a spiritual sense, it is a very good idea to know one's true desires and to follow them, and to bring them forth into the world and into your own life.